Good morning. We've climbed high enough up Mount Kendrick that not only is it cool, but we found this nice stand of aspen trees. So I'm going to break here to talk some anime.
Urusei Yatsura, Beautiful Dreamer.
Urusei Yatsura was a wacky anime comedy series best known for its iconic character, Wum, a sexy anime girl. There was a time when her signature tiger stripe bikini was as synonymous with anime as giant robots. Urusei Yatsura was an early anime based on the manga of Rumiko Takahashi, which ran from 1978 to 1987. The title Urusei Yatsura is roughly translated as those obnoxious aliens, but that depends on one of those kanji puns that Takahashi loves. The anime TV series began in 1981 and spawned half a dozen movies and some OVAs. The second movie, Beautiful Dreamer, is my favorite of the lot and the anime I want to talk about today. To be honest, most of the Urusei Yatsura TV series is a little too crazy for my taste. But first, some quick background. Wum's bizarre alien family arrives in Japan from outer space with an ultimatum. Earth's champion must defeat their champion, Wum, in a game entirely unlike tag. Otherwise, the planet Earth will be destroyed. Earth's champion is randomly chosen to be high school boy Ataru Moriboshi. At first, this seems a perfect choice because Ataru is Tomobiki's most lecherous boy and has lots of experience chasing unwilling girls. To save Earth, all he has to do is grab Wum by her pair of uniquely beautiful horns. Well, it seemed easy, but no one mentioned that Wum could fly. Still, Ataru's going to manage to pull it off with a little trickery. As a result of this contest, it seems Ataru is now engaged to the cute alien girl. A very possessive alien girl. Reneging on the engagement would be diplomatic suicide, literally. Wum moves into Ataru's household along with his little fire-breathing cousin, Ten. Ataru still tries to continue his lecherous ways, but not only is Wum always still floating around nearby, she has an alien electroshock power to punish infidelity. Urusei Yatsura has a pretty large cast that kept on expanding. Shinobu was Ataru's long-suffering childhood friend. Mendo is a filthy rich kid who also attends Tomobiki High, and since he's from a long, distinguished line of samurai, he carries the family sword with him wherever he goes. And Sakura is the school nurse who also possesses some spiritual powers. Wum also has quite a collection of male fans at Tomobiki High. In Beautiful Dreamer, the gang is getting ready for the high school festival. Ataru's class has unaccountably created a Nazi-themed cafe, and Mendo has created one of his tanks, a leopard, for atmosphere. And then, slowly, each of them begins to realize that although they keep preparing for the festival, the actual day of the festival never seems to arrive. They just seem to keep preparing. I mention here that this was made many years before Groundhog Day. And as the realization of this repeating timeline is still dawning on the characters, most of the rest of the city's residents seem to be fading away. And there doesn't seem to be any way out of town anymore. The trains run in loops, and the streets don't lead anywhere. Soon they live in a surreal world where, as one of the gang points out, there's no one else around, but Ataru's house still has mysterious electricity and running water, and the corner store never runs out of fresh snacks. Some of them jump aboard Mendo's Harrier jet to see what's happening or if they can get out of town that way. Yeah, I told you Mendo was filthy rich. He has a Harrier jet. Beautiful Dreamer makes frequent reference to the legend of Urashima Taro. Taro was a fisherman who rescued a small sea turtle. As a reward, a giant turtle came and carried Taro off on his back to the Dragon Palace, where he spent a few days in luxury. But soon Taro asked to return to his home, family, and friends. But when the great turtle carried Taro back to his own world, everything had changed, for while Taro had spent only a few days at the Dragon Palace, hundreds of years had passed back in his own world. Beautiful Dreamer is a significant departure from the usual Urusei Yatsura fare. For a starter, it doesn't really star Ataru or Lum, much to the distress of Lum's many fans. Sakura, the school nurse, is the main character. She has to use her mystic knowledge and detective skills to discover why everyone is trapped in this surreal version of Tomobiki, repeating the same day over and over, and how they might escape it. The movie departs quite a bit from Takahashi's manga. The usual slapstick humor is interrupted for long periods by a very different mood, mystery, and suspense. Not that any movie involving a bikini-clad lightning-shooting alien girl in a panzer tank in the swimming pool is going to be serious. Beautiful Dreamer was both written and directed by Mamoru Oshii, who was then director of the Urusei Yatsura TV series as well. Oshii later directed such anime as Pathwaver, Ghost in the Shell, and Skycrawlers. Now, over 25 years later, you can see the beginnings of some of the style of Oshii that he used later on. For example, this talkie exhibition scene in Beautiful Dreamer. Sakura is trying to take a cab out of Tomobiki, though the ride has gone on far too long and it hasn't gotten her anywhere. But her cabbie isn't just trying to jack up the fare on her. In fact, he proves surprisingly knowledgeable about their problem. They're driving through a tunnel to nowhere when the driver unexpectedly waxes philosophical and the atmosphere turns to mystery.
過去から未来へきちんと行儀を流れとる時間なんて初めからないのんちゃいまっかいな、お客さん。人間それ自体がええ加減なもんなんやから、時間がええ加減なんも当たり前や。きっちりしとったらそれこそ異常ですせ。
After that, you should see some similar elements in this suspenseful tunnel sequence Yoshii directed 10 years later for some exposition in the second Pathwaver movie.
冷戦終結後、拡大の一途をたどるアジアの軍拡競争の流れの中で、一向に軍備の増強を図ろうとしない日本に対して、彼らは根強い危機感を持っていた。
In a way, this movie was a defining point in Oshii's career. He'd already directed the Urusei Yatsura TV series for a couple of years. At about this time, Oshii was also experimenting with the newly possible direct-to-video anime format with the first OVA, Dallas. After this movie, Oshii left the Urusei Yatsura TV series and began directing experimental anime such as the surrealistic movie Angel's Egg, plus some live-action films and shorts. He eventually returned to more conventional serial anime with the Pathwaver OVAs and TV series. The Urusei Yatsura character designs are taken from Takahashi's manga in the style of the 1980s with that author's distinctive wide eyes, high cheekbones, and rounded figures. Beautiful Dreamer has some lovely artwork for the period. I know that seems passé today, but its surrealistic landscapes still seem to hold up very well for me. This movie tends to polarize Lum fans, with some dedicated Urusei Yatsura fans feeling it's not really a Lum movie. I said earlier that the Urusei Yatsura series, despite its iconic status, was generally too slapstick for my taste, but I find this second movie, Beautiful Dreamer, slips effortlessly back and forth between the imaginative pun-strewn slapstick world of Takahashi to the equally imaginative vision of Mamoru Oshii's surrealism to offer an interesting amalgam of weirdness. I give it 4 stars, and I still find it holds up very well over 25 years later as a very clever and innovative movie, and it offers both an iconic anime figure from the 1970s and an early work by a distinguished director and a distinguished manga artist. Beautiful Dreamer was released in North America by USMC, was translated and subtitled by Animego, 2 of the one-time leader in the anime import business. Both the VHS and DVD version of this are cropped rather than letterboxed, so it seems that we've lost some part of the movie. It also had a subtitled Laserdisc release.
Thanks for watching.